Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first Duke Pulse podcast. I'm Danny, lifelong diehard Duke fan, and I thought it'd be a good idea to kick things off with a player preview series for next year's squad, starting with Cayden Boozer. Last week, Cayden announced returning back to Duke for his sophomore year. He's going to be one of the top point guards in the ACC, no question about it. Honestly, I think he will be the top point guard in the conference, but regardless, he'll be one of the best. And I think it goes without question that he's the purest point guard that John Shire has had so far as during his head coaching tenure. And he's going to be a very pivotal piece in determining Duke's success next year, especially their ceiling. Last year, he came into Duke kind of in Cam's shadow, but as the season progressed, we really saw him grow in confidence. And then when Caleb Foster went down against UNC in the last regular season game, he was really forced into that starting point guard position and suddenly had a lot more responsibility on his shoulders, and he needed to step up, and that's exactly what he did. In that first game against FSU, they played a lot of drop and packed the paint, and they pretty much let Caden shoot. He went 0 for 5 from 3, and he just really struggled in that game. But after that, he really did step up to the plate as Duke needed him to. He averaged 13 points per game, around 4 assists, and 3 rebounds per game. So we really got to see a glimpse of what we will expect to see him when he has the keys next year. And before I get started into this real player preview, I created an article and posted it on X and Substack and stuff. So the link should be in any of my social medias. You can click on my link tree, which is in my bio here, and check it out. So let's start with the passing. Cayden is a great floor general. He can really dish the rock, especially with Pat Ngungba, who also announced his return recently. So that'll be awesome to watch. But him and Pat really worked well together last year, whether it was through the pick and roll, Pat making cuts, or just being open in the dunker spot. They really had a great chemistry, and I think it really could be one of the best connections in college basketball next year. But let's get into some clips that I have. The first one comes from the Cali road trip where Duke played at Cal and Stanford. But Pat Ngungba here sets a pick at the top. Cayden has the ball, which normal in John's system. He sets the pick, and then the center Illich he plays drop, goes under the screen, which is normal, given Cayden's reputation as a non-shooter. But normal pick and roll, 2-on-1 advantage. Cayden goes, and then Illich right here, he takes a sidestep instead of covering Pat and giving Cayden the floater or the drive. He steps up Cayden, and Cayden has his head up, recognizes it, and he makes the easy lob and finish to Pat. So Cayden loves his numbers games. Whenever he has an advantage, more than likely he's finishing the playoff in some way. And so John really utilized that last year, and he's very dangerous when he gets downhill. And I'll show more. This one was at Virginia Tech. Pat Ngungba has the ball at the top of the key, which again was another normal thing in John's system, especially when he had centers that could pass as well as Malik Brown and Pat Ngungba. He really utilized that and opened up the paint, whether that was for like back picks or just back cuts in general, and then the centers would make the pass. But regardless here, Pat had the ball at the top of the key, and then Cam's going to set a little screen and bump Cayden's defender off of him so Cayden can win the race around Pat and grab the ball. And this set up the natural 2-on-1 getting downhill with Cayden and Pat. And one other thing to point out here is Isaiah Evans was in the paint. He recognized the 2-on-1 situation, and he got out of the paint, went to the perimeter to draw his defender away as well to keep that numbers advantage. And so Hansberry in the paint, he didn't slide back to cover Ngongba. Cayden recognized that and threw the easy lob. Another finish. This is the Army game. It was a fun away game at a mid-major, third game of the year. But Cayden here, he has the ball at the top. He passes it to Darren Harris, who naturally shooter, but he drives in and get some attention here. Number five, Caden's defender. He plays help, and this is another thing. One of Caden's strongest assets. He has a great IQ. He moves well off the ball. Instead of staying in this one spot, he goes over and pretty much gets himself open. His defender doesn't know where he is right away. And so when he gets the ball, he's wide open. So he can either take the shot or he could pass it down to Pat, who was also wide open. He decides to trust the oop and he makes a beautiful pass, puts it right on the money. And another thing is, like, Pat was wide open and the defender was too late rotating. He didn't get over in time, so he passed up the 3 point shot and got the easy, well, not so easy too. That's a great pass, but got the oop. The next two clips, they aren't oops. Like I said, Cayden, he was just a great passer in general, great vision, kept his head up. But Malik Brown comes over here, sets the first screen, then sets it again on the other side, which is really what he works off of. And then he gets going, gets downhill, 2-on-1. But then Dame Sari, who's in the corner, his defender comes over and plays the paint and help and pretty much takes away the role. And so Cayden keeps his head up the whole time and recognizes that. He sees the defender cheating over in the paint and he makes the open pass to Dame in the corner, who knocks down the corner three, which is what he did very well. And which is another thing that will be definitely exploited next year. Cayden, he doesn't get tunnel vision of keeping it to the center. He has his head up, and whoever's open, whoever's cheating off, he's able to make that correct read and make the pass. This last clip was against Western Carolina. It wasn't an amazing play, but it was the bench guys. I thought it was fun. And so Cameron Sheffield, he great save right here. He gets it to Cayden, and Cayden drives, keeps his head up, passes it to Jack Scott, open on three. I love Jack Scott last year. I wish he had more 3 point attempts, but it is what it is. But show it again. He just kept his head up, drove the lane, and made the correct read to the shooter. So next year, when he has more responsibility in the keys, and the full keys, John's really going to take advantage of that, run the sets, a lot of pick and rolls and stuff, really work with Pat, really work with the new Belmont transfer center, Drew, I think it's Sharnovsky. I have to learn how to say that last name. It's a long last name. But Keaton should really thrive next year, especially how I'm anticipating John to surround him with shooters and stuff, and especially Dominic taking that second year leap. I think his passing will be on full display once again, and he's really gonna get this offense humming. But he's not just a passer, he's also able to finish the ball, and that's what I'm gonna get into next. Kane did a great job last year in getting by his on ball defenders, and once he did that, it was very hard to stop him. I already mentioned his passing ability, but he was also able to finish the playoff by himself. He has great body control and he was able to get uses to get to the rim and he really just stayed balanced and was able to make nice moves, adjustments and finish it off, which was very impressive considering I don't think he has that extra athleticism, which kind of helped, which kind of hurt him against some of the top perimeter defenders in the nation. But as season went on, as he hit his stride, I feel like he definitely did improve in that asset. And this was on full display in the ACC championship game against Virginia. And the first one, I like this set a lot. And Caden has it. He plays off the cam screen, and Cam's defender Grunlow, he switched on to Caden, played drop, and then instead of just playing a regular pick and roll, Darren Harris actually had a back screen right here and shielded off Grunlow from picking up, and Caden just read it very nicely and got to the rim and made a beautiful adjustment against Jakari White, who came in for the contest. I want to watch that one again. See the back screen again. It's great play design. Caden just body control's great. He reads it, doesn't speed up. He's very in control. And he goes in and then he has a nice Nice adjustment against Jakara White. So that was one of his finishes right there. And then he's bringing the ball up the court again, and it's kind of the same setup. Malik, he sets a screen this time. Grunlow switches, and instead of waiting for the back screen by Darren Harris, which he's attempting to do again, Kane just blows by him and gets to the lane. He doesn't give the defense the opportunity to rotate and help. He just gets to the rim. He has that extra little gear of acceleration, I feel, which really helps him get by the big guys. And yep, he is able to use it here and score. This last one here, Malik sets a pick up top. He doesn't use it, and then Cam kind of comes up and sets a quick pick, which I don't think Virginia read too well. Especially Cam's defender, they didn't communicate well at all. I don't think number two. I think that's either Mallory or Lewis. He was not expecting that, and I don't think anything was told to him. So, yeah, he was able to get pretty much on Onyenso, who was the only one. He went straight into him. Onyenso was one of the best shot blockers in the nation in that game. I think he actually had 8 blocks. So just that confidence and being able to go into them, keep your control, and finish the playoff, that's incredible. And a play like that, I don't think gets enough appreciation because like people also don't recognize how good of a shot blocker Yenso was. That duo of Grunlow and Yenso is a great front court center defensive pair, and in this 3 clips, he kind of tore them apart. So I think he will improve with that and keep building on that. And in these clips, I didn't even show the floater, which was a big part of his game. Instead of going all the way to the rim, sometimes he did float it up instead over the big man. But I think the finishing is his maybe the most underrated part of his game because people kind of view him as a passer, but the finisher he really displayed late into the season when he took over that starting role. So pretty much when he has the numbers advantage, he can get it done either way, which is tough for a defense to stop. But this combine these, I also think on the fast break, it made him very dangerous, which is what I'm going to be talking about next. Cayden loves to push the pace, and he really helps Duke steal some points in transition by getting out and running. And it really combines his finishing and passing ability. It's on full display. And start off with the championship game again against Virginia. Dame Sar saves the ball here, and then Caden's eventually going to get it at half court right there. And then here he has a 2-on-1, him and Dame versus, I believe that's Onyenso. And Onyenso, he doesn't take Dame, he chooses to pretty much guard Cayden, and Cayden head up again. Like I said, recognizes this, and he makes a nice little lob to Dame. His IQ is just, it's on display again and again. He recognized that he had the 2-on-1 opportunity, and yeah, the defender picked him up, and so he just lobbed it up for Dame to finish right there. Boom. This next one came from Indiana State, and this one was very impressive to me. Cam, he makes the outlet pass to Cayden. He goes up, and if you look, the numbers advantage, he, he doesn't even have it. And the only other guy that's really done the court for Duke is Malik, and he's on the perimeter, which isn't going to happen unless it's at UNC, apparently. But the defender, he's backpedaling, which Cayden, if he's able to get downhill, he's going to take advantage of that, which is the one thing he saw. So he takes advantage of the back pedal and defender. He gets to the left, and then that's a really nice adjustment. He goes off his right foot, and he pretty much makes a full body adjustment, switches the ball to his right hand, and that's a great finish, especially with a. He doesn't need the numbers advantage to finish. You know, this one was an MSG against Texas Tech. Cam gave him the outlet again, and then it's him versus, I believe that's Christian Anderson. But backpedal and defender again, he's 1-on-1. No one really tried to pick him up too much. but he was able to get to his right side and make a nice finish. And it just shows how it seems very natural for him to get out and running, and especially with Brad's last year, he had a great impact on that. Brad's loved the high pace and getting the offense, and it seems like Caden really bought into this, and this is something that should continue next year because, again, it's a great way to steal points, and Caden has proven that he doesn't need to have a 2-on-1 or 3-on-2 opportunity to really make something happen. It could just be 1-on-1, and he can steal a bucket. So, the last part I want to talk about is Cayden's shooting. Shooting was the main gripe that people had with Cayden's game last year. He shot 30% from deep, so it makes sense, but I'm not overly concerned about it because I think he can be a good knockdown shooter from the catch and shoot. I don't think he's going to have to shoot much off of the dribble this year, so I think he'll be all right. And especially with how Duke's roster should be next year, I think there's going to be sides at the 4 and 5 again where they'll have a lot of attention in the paint to where he's going to get a lot of open looks just like he did last year. This first clip is in the final game against UConn Elite Eight. Isaiah Evans came around there, and then Cam drove, and you see Pat make the cut here, and look at how much attention these two drew last year. They were both beasts in the paint. And so there's three guys fourth lurking around, but really three. One is Cayden's guy. And Cayden sees this and backs up to the perimeter, gets himself open. Cam makes the pass to Pat, and Pat recognizes this. The extra defender on him, and he makes the pass out to Cayden, and Cayden knocks down the open corner triple. So this is, I honestly think he's going to have a lot of similar looks next year. This one's Niagara. He's on the break. He makes the pass here to Darren. Nice pass. Shoot. He was open defender and a nice closeout. And then Darren passes to the corner to Isaiah. And then Isaiah drives. And this was the part of the game where I think he really got better from freshman to sophomore year. He made the drive and then he became a good passer. He passed it out to Cayden. Cayden was wide open. His defender was down and top of the key, open three. Boom. It's pretty simple to be honest with you. And then this SMU clip is honestly one of my favorite clips. I think it shows off everything that Cayden has in his game, his passing, his IQ, and his catch and shoot ability. He makes a nice cut here to the paint. Cam finds him. And then he immediately, his head is to the corner, find the open shooter, Nick. He makes a nice pass. He has a bit of a slow release. His defender is closing out, chooses not to shoot it. He drives, and then both defenders pretty much pick up on the help. A lot of Cayden's defenders sacrificed him open on the three to pick up with the paint that because Duke dominated the paint. And then Nick, he makes a nice pass. Cayden keeps moving to the corner, and he's open, knockdown. And this last one is in the Texas Tech game again. Pat is in the paint, and look how much attention he draws again. Him and Dame are pretty much wide open. Dame's on the other side. It's going to be hard to get a pass all the way across there. But Cayden's at the top of the key, and Anderson's trying to figure out which way to go. And Pat notices that, and Cayden's wide open at the top of the key. I don't think much is going to change from the looks that Cayden's going to get this year, especially if Duke gets like the four that they're looking for in the portal. They're going to really be able to play the paint. So in year two, I think he's going to be able to knock down the catch and shoot at a higher rate, and it's going to be a great asset to his game. As far as next season's outlook goes, usually he would be a shoo-in for the starting point guard spot, but the number one point guard recruit comes in by name of Duron Rippey Jr. He's gonna have to earn the spot. If you ask different people, they say different things. I give the lean to Cayden, especially come back as a returner. I think he's going to be very, very good next year. But regardless of how it shakes out, he's going to handle the ball a lot, and like again, he's going to be very important to Duke. I don't think Caden's going to have to necessarily learn anything new comparing to just polishing up of what he already has. Like, I don't think he's going to shoot off the dribble or anything like that. The front court will likely be dominant again to where the open kickout's going to be there. And the team is really going to benefit from having him. Dame's three in the corner will be a great asset again. And the starting shooting guard, if we get who we are rumored to get, he's going to get a lot of open looks. And this will also take a lot of pressure off of Cayden. And him being able to find him is just going to be great for the offense. Like I said, Pat's back, which will do wonders in the pick and roll and stuff like that. And John will make sure to utilize this because of how deadly Caden is with this. One thing I would like to see though is a training staff maybe get a little more weight on him. I feel like this will help with the defensive end and also solidify his slashing game a little more. It'll help him play a little more powerful and get into the rim rather than just being totally elusive. Regardless, Cayden Boozer is going to be one of the best point guards in the ACC next season. Like I said, I think he will be the best, and I'm very excited. There's too many days left until next season, so it's going to be a long summer. But that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed the first episode of this. Like I said, read my Cayden Substack article and hit subscribe if you want to see more. I believe Pat will be the next player preview. So stay tuned.